He's a straight shooter, I'm a straight shooter. He might not be the answer.
Well, I don't think there's anything worse than what's happening now.
It's a chance. With the Democrats, I have no chance.
He tried to steal the election.
I'd rather choose someone that isn't interested in killing off my people.
Democrats, leaders in the state, have basically abandoned the community. And I think the damage is great.
America is full of contradictions. This is the story of one of them, the Arab Americans who will vote for Donald Trump. It is at a high school in Michigan, on the edge of Detroit, within the all-American experience, that you find the views that may help shape the future here.
We don't know what she's going to provide. We don't know what she's going to do. So I think it's just a safer bet to go for Donald Trump.
I'm actually asking people around me to see what they're voting, and the most person that I got is they're voting for Donald Trump.
Really?
Yeah.
Look it up. If this feels in Congress, well then drill a bit deeper, because this is a section of American society shifting. The students here are first and second generation immigrants, and overwhelmingly Arab American. The teachers are too. They call him Mr. Gus. Kassan Shahab is a pillar of this place, Palestinian by birth, American now to the core, and Trump is his man.
I think Trump is not a politician. He is just a regular person. It happens that he's a billionaire or a millionaire, whatever it is, but he has morals. I'm a conservative. All Middle Eastern people are conservative. Christians and Muslims, we are conservative people.
In his last...
You know, folks, what this gentleman is saying is so true. He's a Donald Trump supporter. He's an Arab American. He's Muslim. Why is he saying that he sides with Trump? Why do I say we side with Trump? On the moral and social issues, cultural issues, family issues, he is like this with Muslim Americans. You may disagree with the foreign policy. You may disagree with his tweets. You may disagree with the way he goes about doing his business. But you're not going to have 100% agreement with anybody. How has Kamala Harris, Joe Biden worked out for you fellow Muslims? Just asking. Just asking. You're in the middle of an effing genocide because you allowed Joe Biden and Kamala Harris to come into power. Now, there's no doubt that the United States government and Trump, and I'll concede that fact, they're not going to abandon Israel. So if you think that you vote for Trump, he's going to turn around, no. But if there is somebody that would be capable, and Trump's ego is so big, you have to have a huge ego to run for president. But I bet you one of his things that he's thinking about is, you know what? What would happen if and I mean Donald Trump is thinking this, that I were able to bring peace to the Middle East, somehow bring about the creation for this country of Palestine, what they call the two-state solution, or something to that effect. Bring some amount, stop the genocide. Remember, Trump didn't start the genocide. He wasn't on the watch, folks. 4 years, nothing. Nobody in the world stepped out of line because they thought that Trump was fearful. Remember what Trump told Putin? You cross that line and I'm going to basically decimate the Kremlin. And people go, oh, he talks so, oh, that's just harsh talk. He's going to start World War III. You can't talk like that to other leaders. Why not? Why can't you talk to other leaders like that? Why can't you tell them, listen, this is our policy. Do what you want, but if you do, there will be consequences for your actions. Some of them I'm going to tell you. Others, guess what? America's not going to take your shit. Maybe he can do something and stop the flow of ammunition? We don't know because he's not in office, but you do know 1,001%, 1,000,000% as to what Kamala Harris and Joe Biden are going to continue. So right now, the Democratic Party is abandoning Arab Americans, abandoning Muslim Americans. And I'm telling you what, you see this thing here with this younger generation? Where do you think they're going to flock to? The Republican Party. Or maybe they'll think of third-party candidates, but you have lost an entire generation. And all I can say to the Democrats and Kamala Harris and Joe Biden is, thank you, thank you, thank you. Anyways, let's continue and see what is happening within the Arab American, the Muslim American movement, especially in Michigan, folks. This is really something you need to see and to hear.
Last presidency, you know, many would see him as trampling on Palestinian rights, on aspirations. He moved the Israeli embassy to Jerusalem. He hasn't endorsed an arms embargo. I wonder how that fits with your history and your views.
Give me one president who did.
Wow, what an absolutely phenomenal answer. That's right. You see how they're sort of, I can see the interviewer trying to ask the question, but sometimes, you wonder the way they come at the question, the way they ask the question, especially when it's about Trump. You see, is there an underlying predisposition to TDS, Trump derangement syndrome? But Gus here gives an unbelievable, and absolutely, fires back and just says, yeah, tell me somebody else who did.
In the canteen, Mr. Gus's views have prompted debate among a thoughtful bunch of first-time voters.
I do like having educated conversations with a lot of my teachers, like outside of class time.
My parents probably split, but we never talk about it. I think they're gonna support Donald Trump because of like the way they give tax dollars to them and everything.
I'm definitely leaning towards Kamala at the moment.
Figures.
Frontier International Academy is in the heart of Hamtramck, the only Muslim-majority city in America. And there is no better place to understand how shifting loyalties, changing politics, will help mold the result of this election. Because the path to the White House without winning here is hard to see, and it's all about the margins.
Hello, Mr. Mayor. Mark from Sky News. How are you?
Amir Ghalib is the Democratic Party mayor here. His office is a reflection of his political roots. But look what happened on Friday.
Why Trump?
It's a combination of two things. Disappointment at the current administration and hope that the new administration led by Trump, if he wins the election, will do something different that will help resolve some of the issues locally and internationally.
And that's what's most revealing about all this. The shift to the right here is a consequence of a gradual leftward shift by the Democrats. It's about the real war in the Middle East, yes, but it's also about culture wars in America, too. Last year, an attempt to fly a pride flag on city property was blocked by the mayor and his team.
There is so much aggression and attempts to enforce certain values on the majority of this community, on schools, on public properties, city hall buildings.
Yeah, so just to let everybody know here, the LGBT, when this happened and it became the first Muslim majority town council in America, I believe 4 members, including the mayor, out of 6 are on the board. Everybody, you take a look at the newspaper headlines from then, they were all so happy, dancing in the streets, the Democrats, the progressives, the liberals. They said, yes, this is great for America. And you know what? Yes, okay, it is great for America that you've got Muslim Americans that have gone through the democratic process, got elected to office, are sitting on the town council, sitting on boards, perfectly fine. Nobody's questioning that. We can all applaud. Great. But if they thought that they were going to be pushing liberal ideas, liberal agendas, progressive agendas, oh, were they in for an unbelievable clash, folks? Because when the town council decided to not have the pride flag, the transgender ideology on government property or being taught in schools, the left, the progressive, the transgender movement, the LGBTQIA, MOUSE, that groups, all those groups, they literally had shit fits. Literally, all of a sudden now, they started to what? Go after the Muslim mayor, Amir Ghalib. Go after town council. Calling them racists and bigots and white supremacists. All because they voted democratically that they didn't want this crap on government property in public schools. That's all. You want to do it privately, perfectly fine. But you're not going to shove your values that you have, anti-family values, anti-biological values, anti-scientific values. You're not going to push that on us. We have our own values. We believe that men are separate and different than women, that men can't become women, women can't become men can't play on girls' sports teams. We're not going to have that you guys can have the conversation, but you can't force us to do something that the entire town or the majority of town says no. That's a democratic process. They voted, but the left didn't like that. And like Amir Ghalib is saying, is they're being pressured by outside groups to change their way of thinking. And he's basically said to them, we're not. It's not going to change. You're not going to bully us. You're not going to force us to go against our cultural values, our family values, our moral values, our religious values. You're just not going to do it. Anyways, let's continue.
Democratic Party is not doing anything to prevent that shift in dynamics.
No one from Team Harris has reached out to you?
No.
Does that surprise you?
It does. They think I'm a fake Democrat. They just think of us as numbers in their pocket during the elections.
But do you not think that Donald Trump just sees you as a number in his pocket?
Donald Trump, listen, I requested if he wants our support, I want to meet him personally.
And he came.
And he came. And he listened to me.
Driveway.
Oh, so there you go, folks. Politically, she made a miscalculation, a misstep. Kamala Harris basically gave the middle finger to the Arab community, Arab American community, the Muslim community. Both middle fingers. The entire party did. He just asked, hey, before I decide to give my endorsement or even think of an endorsement, whatever, I'd like to have a meeting with the President of the United States. A mayor of a tiny little town of 60,000 people asked this of the vice president. She basically said, no. President Trump said yes. That's all he wanted, to sit down. He could have still come out and said, I don't want to endorse the president. But after listening to him, what did he say? We don't agree on all the issues. I said before, no one's going to agree on 100% of the issues. But maybe, there's a chance that he might go in a different direction, meaning Donald Trump, or at least do something different than the current administration is doing in terms of their genocide on the Palestinians in Gaza. And he said, you know what? I'm going to go ahead and take a chance because I know what the current administration is all about. And I know that during 4 years of President Trump, at least there were no wars, there was no genocide.
West out of Hamtramck through the Detroit suburbs and you'll reach Dearborn. About half the population here is Arab American, most of them from Lebanon. It's wealthier here. The dynamics are different. More progressive, yes, and yet coffee with local political activist Samra Lukman should alarm the Harris campaign.
2016, how did you vote?
I voted for Hillary Clinton.
2020?
I wrote in Bernie Sanders' name in the general.
And 2024?
I'm voting for Trump.
Wow.
Policy-wise, I don't like any of the Republican policies, to be frank, at all. I don't think I agree with a single thing.
Yet you'll still vote for him.
I will still vote for him because one thing I hate more than all those other policies is genocide.
There it is, folks. There it is. That's what I try to tell the community members. That's what I tell them. I said, if you want to be intellectually honest, you don't have to vote for Trump. You don't. But don't tell me that you're going to be voting for Harris and at the same time say that you're upset, you're pissed off, you're mad, you can't believe the genocide that's being committed with the bombs and the ammunitions and the amount of money that we're sending to Israel, foreign aid. My question to you is, how can you be intellectually honest, politically, intellectually honest? How can you be that? If you're siding with the administration, with Kamala Harris, with Joe Biden, who are basically, they're not the ones physically dropping the bombs, but they're certainly giving the bombs to Israel. Aren't they? We're giving the money to Israel, aren't we? And what are they using that money and that ammunition, those armaments and those bombs for? So she is a community activist, an Arab American, Muslim American. She's saying she doesn't agree with any of the policies of the Republicans, but she wants to teach the Democrats a lesson and gain power with her vote by saying, at least Trump's not for genocide, I'm voting for Trump. That's the argument I have with Arab Americans and Muslim Americans. Is that would be my argument, to say, don't vote for Trump, that's fine. Stay home, okay. But a better choice would be is that maybe go third party. Jill Stein, Butch Ware. And Butch Ware is the vice presidential nominee of the Green Party, and he happens to be a Muslim. Now, I don't agree with the third party. I think they're socialist, Marxists. They have a lot of policies, almost all of which I disagree with. But the thing which I do agree with them on is stopping the genocide and at the same time doing anything possible to stop Kamala Harris and the Democrats from retaking the White House. So we will team up together with Jill Stein. So I tell a lot of American Muslims, there's a third-party choice that's out here right now, whose platform is they want to stop the genocide. They want to stop foreign aid funding. There's agreement there. You don't have to be a Trump supporter and vote Trump. There's a perfectly valid third-party alternative to vote for, which is even better than sitting it out. Anyways, let's continue.
There is no other issue to me of importance or of consequence. None. My children, I came home the day I met Trump, and I gave my son a MAGA hat, and I said, I guess we're there. And he said, ew. His first words to me were, ew. I said, but Baba, he said he's gonna stop the war. And he said, okay, that's it. Give me that hat. We're voting for Trump. And that's the sentiment, not just of an 8-year-old, but of an entire community. If you're gonna stop the war, even if I don't like you, I'm on your team.
Inside the Yemeni-run cafe, Sarah Chabin is voting for the first time. It is a conversation that reflects a conviction on one issue, but compounded by a broader conflation.
What about the prospects of America's first female president?
It's just not enough for me to want to vote for her. On one hand, you have a former president. He says he wants to fix the situation and that a war wouldn't have happened if he were president. But at the same time, he says some conflicting things about us, some racist things. And on the other hand, you have Kamala and all of these promises she's making. Like she had time to do them, and I don't think she's going to.
This journey through communities which now feel forgotten and unheard ends where it started for them. It was Detroit's Ford factory which drew so many Middle Eastern immigrants here, and with the founder of the local Democratic Party caucus, a startling conclusion.
I could assure you that it's not just about Michigan. This is a nationwide phenomenon.
Absolutely.
I am very worried.
You should be.
I think the damage is great.
Do you
Tremendous
think that
damage,
the
folks.
Democratic Party has messed up this campaign?
Absolutely.
Yes, I believe so. I really do.
And so it is then about much more than the war. It's the threat to their conservative values. They came to America for the freedom to live their life their way. It won't take many to swing this state and streamline the path to the White House. Here, through all the contradictions, they are swinging to Trump. Mark Stone, Sky News in Michigan.
You know, it's really amazing how the Democrats have made a huge, huge political miscalculation. But the ramifications of them basically snubbing the Arab American voting bloc, the Muslim American voting bloc, which so heavily went for them in 2016 with Clinton, definitely when Obama in 2008 and 2012, and then 2020 with Biden, because they thought that the Democrats were the party of peace, were the party that was going to be, do something with the Israeli, Gaza, Palestine situation. But they found out that that's not true, and that literally they got screwed by the Democratic Party. And so now the onus shifts. And if we're looking at what's happening in Michigan and in Georgia and Pennsylvania and other states that have a fairly large Muslim American, Arab American population, we haven't even talked about in Chicago. Now, Trump's not going to win Chicago. He's not going to win Illinois. But there's 85,000 Palestinians. How many of those Palestinians are of age to vote? Would you say that? I'd say 99. I can't imagine any Palestinian, but there might be some that their Trump derangement syndrome of Trump is so great that they'll still vote for Harris. But I do truly believe that the majority of that population in Chicago is not going to vote for Harris. They'll probably vote third party, give some percentage of the vote to Trump, some percentage of the vote to Harris. Trump doesn't need a lot, folks. He just needs to peel off a half a point or a point, and that will be enough. So anyways, I hope you enjoyed this video. You've been watching the Dr. Nasser Sheikh Show. I'm your host. My name is Dr. Nasser. If you haven't done so already, we'd love for you to subscribe to the channel, like, share, and follow us. Let us know what you think below in the comments. Take a look at our video links above and below. My final thought is always, when you're right, and when you're left, you're wrong. Until next time, folks, take care and stay safe.